Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and we're online for Charter Moms Chats. It's Friday, May 15th, and we have some special guests today. We have Adina Ichilov and her dad, Nammie. Adina is the valedictorian at Brooks Collegiate Academy, which is a charter school kind of on the near northwest side at Loop 410 in Vance Jackson. And as I'm sure you're aware, the class of 2020 is having a very different senior year than what they were expecting, different than probably any senior year in the history of education. So that is our this week we've been talking a lot about sort of the transition to summer and kind of looking on the bright side about what things you can do with your family. But we need to take a moment to realize what the class of 2020 is experiencing. And so I'm really thankful to have these guests today. So let me talk a little bit about Adina's accomplishments, because she's a really amazing young woman. Okay, like I said, she goes to Brooks Collegiate Academy. She's going to graduate this month, right? So she's the valedictorian. She also has already 22 credits at San Antonio College, and she's been accepted to the Macomb School of Business at the University of Texas at Austin. So congratulations on that. So she has some really strong job experience. She's been a Hebrew and religious studies instructor, which is that's a great experience. I can't even describe it. She's had really made the most of her time at Brooks Collegiate. So that's some of what we want to cover. So okay, so hello. I'm gonna ask the first question. Adina, is there anything in your bio that I left out that you want to add? And then if you could talk more about like what you liked about Brooks Collegiate Academy before the pandemic, like, and kind of what things you were experiencing like on campus that you really enjoyed.
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of my favorite experiences and opportunities that I was given at Brooks was the fact that I could take dual credit classes. As you can see, I have taken multiple credits, so it's going to help me in the future, hopefully with college, so I don't have to take the classes, and who knows, maybe I can graduate early.
Yeah. Yeah, so. When you were taking dual credit classes, would you spend some time on campus at Brooks Collegiate and then some time on campus at San Antonio College, or was it more like an online experience? Or
So they were online classes. So all the classes I took, we had a period or periods, depending on how many classes you took, kind of scheduled into your, like blocked into your schedule, so that you could take them on campus since they were online.
right. Okay, so pre-pandemic, you would go to school at Brooks Collegiate, and you'd have some high school classes, and then you'd have time blocked out in your schedule when you would log in and do the San Antonio College, like the college credit classes, like while you're on campus. And I guess that's why it's dual credit, right? Because you're earning high school credit towards your high school graduation, and you're getting college credit that then you can transfer to UT, right? And it'll count towards your bachelor's at UT, right? Making it cheaper and faster, hopefully. Although I think no one's worried about you staying on track. But okay, well that's great. Okay, so what I'm wondering is, I mean, there were things you were looking forward to as part of your senior year, and then in March all the campuses were closed. So can you? I mean, this is kind of bittersweet, but can you tell us about some things you were looking forward to that didn't actually come to pass? And I'm sorry to have to bring this up, but we need to kind of hold the sad stuff so that we can process it and move on. Because you're not the only one experiencing this type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say one of the biggest like memorable events that I definitely missed out on was my senior trip. I was looking forward to spending a weekend at a campsite with my fellow classmates to make more memories. It actually was the weekend after they made the announcement.
Oh.
So that Thursday we got a text saying that due to Corona, we are no longer able to hold it, which is kind of bitter moment in my eyes. But I FaceTimed my friends that weekend, and we kind of made it our own at home senior trip.
That's creative. I mean, using the digital technology to try to stay together. I mean, it will make a story. I mean, the things that are painful when you're experiencing them are sometimes the things that are, very memorable. So it's sad that, you weren't able to spend the time together, but it's something that y'all are all experiencing. You're all experiencing the pandemic just in your own houses, not together. Yeah. Yeah. I can ask, Nammie, what do you remember about, like, when Adina found out about the trip getting canceled? Like, do you remember how she felt or how she acted?
Yeah, it was more about the social loss. I think academically, certainly where we've never really been concerned about Adina's academics. So knowing that the transition would occur from the classroom online and with her taking those classes at SAC online anyway, that really wasn't an area of a particular concern to us. Brooks has really done a great job of preparing the students to be able to be ready online. So we weren't worried about that. What we saw was much more about the social experience, the isolation of the children, their need as teenagers to be able to interact with each other. We pre-pandemic, it was very common to be able to complain or criticize our children for being online and communicating with each other so much through their digital devices. And yet, if not for that preparation, oh boy, how much worse potentially this experience could be. It's strange how things happen. And so those were the things that we really saw change in Adina's experience, the need for the human interaction, more so than worrying about the academic piece.
Right. And we had a guest a couple weeks ago, or previously, talking about at Brooks Collegiate, like the type of virtual learning, and how students are able to like almost follow their class schedule, 2 days a week, and have Zoom classes, and they still have that bond with their teachers, and at least in their classes they still have that bond with their classmates. So Adina, have you been having Zoom classes with your classmates online?
Yes, ma'am. I have Tuesday, Thursday, 4 periods of the day, because I take 4 dual credit classes. So I Zoom into my class, and the teacher teaches. We have time to like talk to our fellow classmates. So they really work with us, because they understand kind of what we're going through, since they're kind of going through the same thing with teaching us online.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the teachers have had to make a really abrupt shift to how to present their lessons online, and how to facilitate class discussion online, and yeah. Well, what are some of the things like to fill the gap socially? Like, what are some of the things that you've done, or that the school community has done? Like, do you have a yard sign? I see you have a shirt. You have a senior shirt.
Yes, at the beginning of the school year. But actually, I think it was last week or within the last couple of weeks, the school kind of did a drive-by through all the students' houses. So I do have a yard sign in my front yard. I took pictures in front of it, for the social media aspect of it. But yes, they have driven by the house. They have given us time in breakout rooms to kind of catch up with our fellow classmates. So they're working with us. Like I said before, they understand kind of what we're going through.
So Inga, I'm going to jump in for a second. Adina sort of presents it as a drive-by. We live in a neighborhood where school buses don't typically come down, and this drive-by was led by a school bus. So we had a Brooks Collegiate Academy school bus driving down our small side street, followed by faculty and staff. It was a delightful thing to see. It was really special, but that's something that's going to stay with us, and certainly our neighbors, for a while. So it wasn't sort of just 1 or 2 car drive by. It was something that was really special, and it was great to be a parent and to see that too.
That's cool. Yeah, Lisa shared a video with me about, like, they edited together like the stops at different seniors' houses, and this experience of, like, here's your yard sign, and like, let's take a picture on your front porch, and still practicing social distancing, but but memorializing this. And they edited together all the clips of the different visits. So I'll add that link to the description, because we shared it on our page, but it was really heartwarming. I mean, this is a big transition and a big rite of passage. So yeah, I bet the neighbors. I know in our neighborhood, the neighborhood elementary school did kind of a teacher drive by, and there was honking and just, I mean, things have been so quiet. And so when something like that happens, like it does like turn out the neighborhood. Everyone comes out in their yards. It's like, what is going on? Like what? You know, or like earlier this week when the jets, the Air Force jets flew overhead, and we went out in our front yard and saw it, and it was, you know, those moments are kind of rare these days to have like common experiences. Or like Adina mentioned, the social media aspect of it. It's like you take the pictures and you share it on social media, and that's the gathering place. It's a virtual gathering to celebrate that you reach this milestone, because we can't physically gather. So let's see, has Brooks is Brooks going to have an outdoor graduation or?
Yes. So
okay.
Monday or sometime earlier this week, we had a class meeting, and they announced that all in all, we are now able to have a outdoor graduation. It will be at the field, and our whole class is going wild. You know, it's a memorable experience to walk the stage. So the fact that they're able to give us that is very nice of them, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So, but then like the different family groups will have to sit kind of spread out from each other.
We've been given the sort of the preliminary set expectations. You're not going to be sitting with other families. You're going to be sitting as individual families, and staff and any of the ambassadors will be wearing gloves and masks. And so I think they're trying to ease everybody's anxieties about coming together like that at the same time. Thankfully, you know, especially BCA has the facilities to be able to have an outdoor ceremony like that. So that our other campuses also will have their experiences too. So it's really good.
Yeah, I know. Actually, Lisa emailed me and said that so if there's any folks at other charter schools listening and you don't have a venue yet for your graduation, reach out to me. I will connect you with the superintendent at Brooks Collegiate or at Brooks Academies, because it is such a large. For those of you who don't know the context, Brooks Collegiate Academy is on the site of what used to be the Cornerstone Christian School, a luxurious private school which moved further out to the northwest, but it still has outstanding athletics facilities that. And for, you know, a small school, you know, to have a graduation in a big stadium like that, you really can practice social distancing. You know, you really can give seniors opportunity to walk across the stage, even though they may have to walk a little farther to get there, you know, because everyone's all spread out, you know. But yeah, I think that shows remarkable resilience and creativity, you know, to still be able to have an in-person graduation. I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, pictures and videos from that. I'm sure you guys are really looking forward to it.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of social media. I'm sure that won't be concerned.
Yeah. Well, good. Okay. Well, I was asking a lot about graduation and stuff. Let's see. So are there other, so we talked about the senior trip that got canceled. The graduation is still going on. Are there other sort of milestones or like any like dances or like things like, I guess, like extracurricular activities that you were having at school and then those got modified or canceled?
Yeah, so we were planning a senior prom. It was junior senior prom. It was going to be the first like official prom that the school would have ever held for the first graduating class, which was a little sad in my eyes because I wanted, you know, that the last dance kind of with my friends.
Yeah.
The school did mention that they're trying to work around it. If all clears up, we may have it late July, early August. But, you know, it depends on where the world is at that time. Yeah,
it's really hard. Yeah, so for my kids' school, our biggest event of the year is the carnival. This is mostly for younger kids, right? And we usually we were gonna have it in March this year, and so it got canceled. And we're still kind of, you know, anyway. The current plan is we might have it around back to school time, but like you said, we still don't know what the status will be in the summer. You know, and we may have to put on hold, you know, just like they're saying, well, we could have Fiesta in November, but we might still be practicing social distancing in November. So, yeah, there's just a lot of uncertainty. Yeah.
The one thing
Okay.
we know is that we don't know what the future holds. That's
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
the common conversation that exists in our household.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Okay. So, Adina, I'm sure you're already thinking about, preparing for college, and what does your summer look like? And have you gotten any sense from UT about what to expect for the fall?
Yes. So, orientation, like in-person orientation, has been moved to virtual.
Okay.
So it's going to be the first, I think, for everyone. So it'll be a new experience. And then later in June, they're gonna make the announcement of where they're decided for the fall, whether to have online classes, half and half, in-person classes, on campus, all that stuff. And then the summer, I have an internship with HEB, so they had said that it would just be moved online and modified a little bit. So it'll still happen, though, I hope.
Good, good. Yeah, that's good. I think that's something that um, I I know it's really important for kids to not just get academic experience, but to get job experience. So you learn yourself, you learn how the job world works, and you want to start making those steps towards knowing what you want to be for your career. And so I'm really glad that your internship is still on. And I do worry about for the families that for the young people whose internships got disrupted. So and that's something I'll probably revisit on the blog. Folks who work in that area, right? Like helping students find like community service opportunities, or those first jobs so you can say good starts. I'm really glad that your internship is still. What area at HEB will you be working in?
Corporate marketing, the corporate marketing. So I'll be given a project most likely, and I'll have a point person, and I'll just communicate via Zoom.
Yeah, like so many other workers are doing these days, right? I just think of all the times when bosses would say, "Oh no, that job can't be done remotely." Guess what? It can, right?
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. I mean, just to be able to see their communications. I mean, it's very ironic. I mean, I keep coming back to the same thing, but we were critical of this generation of children who were communicating and developing relationships and understanding how to use the technology. And now the reality is that they're way ahead of the adults who have to function in this world. For them, it's just
very true.
Extension of what they've been doing. So
yeah. No, there were times when people of my generation or older would criticize what young people were doing and saying that those were not sincere relationships, that having like online friends, that's not a real friendship. But it can be a real friendship. And like, actually, I'm still friends with people that I used to play Warcraft with 15 years ago. So, and some of them I've never met face to face. So, I think I was kind of on the vanguard of the like virtual friendships are real friendships generation. And my daughter has taught me things about how to use Zoom. So she's okay boomering me. She's like, "Mom, you don't know how to share a whiteboard in Zoom?" I'm like, what? And she's like, "Mom, you like this background is not cutting it. You need to change this background."
Yeah, so it's like any generation. The one that comes after us will be our educators, and they'll be our teachers. It
will.
Yeah. Let me just add in one more thing that Adina didn't touch on with the internships. That I think the internships this summer is going to be a real critical issue, like you just mentioned. But Brooks Collegiate Academy was amazing in giving Adina an opportunity as a senior to be part of an internship too. So she's already had those kinds of experiences, and I think that was really a lot which prepared her for the opportunity to now take a corporate internship at a company like an HEB. So I think that's, again, the experiences that they're having while in school are translating into the real world incredibly effectively.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with how Brooks has kept the learning going in the virtual environment. Like that they have like a lot of structure to it, and like what Andrea was telling me the other day about how they're providing special ed services and things like that. I mean, they really embraced. And from what I understand, they're planning to keep offering a really robust virtual school option in the fall. So, I mean, I'm sure the fall plans aren't set yet, but I think the fact that they made such a good transition, means that they're really well positioned to, to keep operating in this environment, because it looks like, I mean, things are not going back to the old normal anytime soon. We all just need to adapt. Like you said, change is the only constant thing is change. Things will keep changing. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think. I had another. So Adina, are there any kind of silver linings or like unexpected benefits that have come out of this? I mean, it sounds like, I think the fact that you were already, really tech savvy has served you well, and the fact that you and your friends already knew how to, show that you care about each other through, online communication, that helped you.
Yeah, it for sure did. I guess another little silver lining would be my time management skills have, I would say, improved more. Every day I wake up, I just want to stay in bed and watch Netflix. But, I have classes and I have to do my dual credit work, so I can't quite do that every day for every hour of the day. So I've, learned to manage my time with, okay, if I do this now, I can take a little break later, and, because I'm at home all day, so it's not really, I don't have the motivation I did at school.
Right. That is a huge question. I keep making little notes of like topics that I want to come back to on future chats, but because I think that question of like same thing with like the question of internships and job experience, and like how do you get started on that, in this environment. But this idea of that, right? I mean, like teenagers should have a fair amount of control over their time, right? Because you're becoming an adult, and you should spend time on things that matter to you, right? Like I'm guessing that, but as in choosing your dual credit classes, you were able to make some choices based on, right? It sounds like you're interested in business and marketing, and I hope those are, or what, I'm just tangent, like what subjects are your dual credit classes in this semester?
This semester, I'm taking elementary statistics, microeconomics, Texas government, and English 1302, I think.
That's good. Get the basics knocked out, right? Yes. And then, yeah, but statistics, that's a class that like all business majors have to take, and sometimes it kind of trips them up. So, good one to get that knocked out.
Yes.
Yeah. But like, the fact that you're practicing these time management skills and, getting in touch with your intrinsic motivation, because you don't have the structure of being on campus to guide you, right? I mean, it's a challenge, but it's a good life lesson. Do you have any advice for like other like teenagers or parents of teenagers who are thinking about time management or motivation?
Honestly, I think just live this whole thing has made me realize that I should live every day to the fullest. Just because when I was at school, I used to think like, okay, I'd rather be at home, or do I really have to do this now? But now I'm like, okay, I'd rather be at school with my friends,
Oh.
So I think that's one of the biggest ones, is like to just appreciate your time at school and appreciate like your life where it is right now, because tomorrow it could look completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, the things you never thought you'd say, like, I wish I could go to school.
Things I never thought I'd hear as a parent either. So, you can only be wishful for statements like that as a parent, and or even as a school administrator. They really want to be back. I mean, it's great. It's we can joke about it, but even the schedule that they have allows for sort of passing time. I mean, it's just it's simple as that. Like the classes don't necessarily run directly from one into the other. It allows for sort of that passing time for children to be able to just regain themselves, to change their books, to do those things. It's, we sometimes take for granted the moments of children passing in the hallways and interacting with each other and being able to have that bathroom break between classes.
Right.
So even their schedule now has built in those things into it, which is really nice to be able to see as a parent. So look, it's like you said, it's making the best of an incredibly difficult, strange, completely out of the ordinary experience.
Yeah, and I thought of myself as somebody who, is, I have my moments of pessimism or looking, at the worst case scenario, and this goes beyond like my own pessimism or preparation. I mean, yeah, this is really strange. I mean, I love reading post-apocalyptic science fiction, but I did not intend to live it, and here we are. But Adina, you have a remarkable resilience and attitude about this, and I'm really inspired by like the bond that you two have and the teamwork and yeah, I guess do either, okay, this is for a question for both of you, like, do you have advice for teachers or school leaders about kind of from the teen or the family perspective, like what impact having campuses closed has on teens and their ability to socialize or to have those rites of passage or those bonding experiences? Like, what do teachers and school leaders need to know, and how can they kind of prepare for things in the fall?
I think one of the biggest issues in my mind is the fact that it's online, so it's a little distracting, and you have your phone, and you have all these, you can get text messages on your computer, and you have all these aspects that, in a classroom, you're not on your phone. You have the teacher in front of you to kind of keep you intact. So that's kind of the big one for me, I would say. Right.
That the experience of doing class online is different because you've got like tabs and notifications and your phone buzzing and I think that's one of the challenges, is having like really good like shared attention, and that's kind of the magic of having like a really good in-person class, is when how people interact with each other. I know I have trouble sometimes in Zoom calls because I don't want to interrupt people, but I have something I want to say, and the microphone only picks up one person at a time, and that's not what real life is like, right? In real life, it's this whole soup of sounds and gestures, and we're not able to experience that. So I feel that too, and yeah.
For me, I would add that online is exhausting. I mean, it's exhausting enough being in a school day, just the routine of a school day. But there are plenty of moments where you get to be distracted. You get to just have some daydream, just sort of waltz over, and you get to separate. But when you're in front of a camera for an extended period of time, you don't get to sort of have a moment of downtime, because you're in front of everybody, and it's just you're constantly on. And I think that I don't know what the solution is, so I'm not being critical in any way. But I think that we just have to take into consideration that some children have a difficult time staying focused for the extended period of one class time, and the idea of that same child needing to stay focused for the 8 hours of a school day on all the time is, I think teachers are doing a good job with breakout sessions and things like that. But it's as an adult with my work day, when I have those days where Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting, I know that I am particularly more tired than I would be normally under a regular circumstance. So it's just something to think about, and for us as parents to be aware of that. By the end of the day, even though they're sitting there in front of a camera, not all day long, they are tired. We just have to take that into account.
Adjusting to how to accommodate, how to support kids, right? Because they're doing the online classes so they can keep having the interaction with their peers and with their teachers, but recognizing that Zoom classes don't have the same effect on you as an in-person class, and that it can be especially draining because you're pinned to that box for a period of time. There's just so much. Like you said, things have changed so much. This is a really tough situation, but it sounds like both of you are really making the best of it. So I guess I forgot to mention that. So Nammie is the director of the Holocaust Museum. And Nammie, do you have any comments about like what's going on at the museum, or I assume, did y'all close for a time period?
Yeah, no, we're still closed currently.
Okay.
I think your guest yesterday, who talked a little bit about summer programming and in museum setting. The reality is that museums are shifting dramatically to online experiences.
Yeah.
We have basically put our entire exhibit online, so
Wow.
all of our
Wow.
exhibits are online right now. We've added and expanded our teacher resource center. We've thankfully to a number of grants, we've been working on them, and we are developing traveling exhibits for teachers to be able to check out
Wow.
in the
Okay.
fall. And our educators and our subject matter specialists are available. So if any of the teachers out there or any of the parents want their teachers to add in a speaker on the Holocaust and genocide studies, we'd be happy to zoom in
Wow. Wow.
and be a resource. So the museum world is changing dramatically. I think any industry that is not realizing the world is not going to be the same tomorrow than it was, before pre-COVID, is simply going to be left behind.
Right. Right.
We just have to be prepared. So the fact that the museum is closed simply means that our visitors are not visiting us physically in the building; they're visiting us online. So
Right. 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 Yeah. So the museum is transforming and adapting, just like the schools are. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Well, and just like essay tournaments, and that's why I'm doing these video chats instead of because I couldn't have in-person events, and also it felt like the cycle of how fast things were changing. Like and I was in the habit of writing blog posts 4 to 6 weeks before they published. That they just weren't timely anymore. We have to take it as it comes. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, do y'all have any final thoughts? I usually try to wrap these things up at about half an hour, but we've just had so much to talk about today. So,
do you want to say anything?
I don't think so. Thank you for this. This is a great opportunity.
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give a little note to my listeners. So next week, we're gonna kind of keep with the theme of activities and stuff that you can do with your kids. I have another blog post coming out about how I'm preparing for summer learning at home with my kids because the school year ends at the end of May, and we're already kind of putting habits in place so that even though like a lot of stuff is going to be closed, but we're going to be using museum resources like the Briscoe, like we talked about yesterday, and now I'm really curious about what the Holocaust Museum has to offer. So and the things like, so we've been reading the book. Have you read the book World War Z by Max Brooks?
I have not.
It's okay. And in some ways it's kind of weird to read a book about a pandemic, but it's about zombies. But in some ways there are things about it that,
I believe there was a movie about it. I didn't realize it was based on a book. So
yes, the movie was okay. As a connoisseur of zombie movies, it's okay, but the book is outstanding. Because it's not just about like jump scares, but it's a lot of geopolitics and like talking about like when there's a pandemic, how will our leaders respond, or is it really up to individuals to be resourceful and for community members to look out for each other? And it's fictional, but there's some acts of great heroism and sacrifice in the book as well. So that's our like family book club is we're reading my kids are all excited, like it's zombies, and then the next thing you know, we're going on a tangent about oh god, like the city of Masada, right? It was in ancient Israel, and it was right, and like that places like that are actually very defensible against zombies. So we go on really, or like the Three Gorges Dam in China, and like so we read like a tiny passage of the book, and then we go on these tangents about history, and because it's such a rich book, so I highly recommend it. I hope you'll read it. Tell me what you think. But anyway, that's the kind of thing that I guess I put of an overshare. So next week I'm going to keep sharing with readers about what we're doing, and I hope it inspires families to get creative about learning at home. So
I think so. I mean, we're all finding our ways to be able to make sense of this, and certainly books are a great way to be able to delve deep into the mysteries of the mind. So I agree. I think we're all finding, we're finding our game time is particularly meaningful these days as a family. So it's
yeah, that's great. Yeah, family game night. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Inga, I want to say thank you also. We appreciate the opportunity. As a proud papa, it's always nice to be able to have Adina share some of the experiences that she's had. So thank you. And I want to thank Brooks Collegiate Academy. Who knows what life brings, but at least we know that she's prepared for the next stage. So I can say thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on, Adina. I'm very happy for you. I'm very proud of all that you've done. I feel like you represent your school very well, and you represent San Antonio. And I wish you all the best as you do your internship and do your transition to UT in the fall. So
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
So we're gonna sign off. Bye, everybody.